girl. Hi, guys. How
Hello,
is
hello.
everybody doing? We are struggling because of the time change. It really shouldn't be a big deal because we like fall back, but technically this is like 9 o'clock for us, and 9 o'clock is kind of like my bedtime. So I do struggle a little bit with the time change. Not as much as I do in the spring.
Yeah.
But
It's crazy how much darker it gets earlier now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not crazy. It's depressing. It's depressing is what it is.
It's solid dark here now.
Yeah. Like by like what, 6?
Yep.
It's completely dark. 5:30, we're starting to struggle a little bit. So.
But we've had warmer than usual weather, so that's been nice. So
yeah, it has been nice.
Especially for November.
And we were just talking, and just for right now, it seems like the time change has kind of gotten us to where we're super productive when we're done with our day at work, because then we're like, we have 1 hour less of daylight. So it kind of forces us to work quickly, but the weather's been really nice too. So we've been enjoying that.
Yep. And we took advantage of, I think it was Saturday. It was supposed to rain. It actually didn't end up raining much.
Yeah.
But we did take a trip down to Louisville for the nail conf. Yeah, the expo, I should say.
North American International Livestock Exposition. So we went down there for the first time on Saturday, like Mark said, with his sister and her kids and her husband, and we all had a really great time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Sadly, Nigerian dwarfs didn't show until Sunday, but we're super involved at our church, so we're kind of tied up on Sunday. Yeah. So we didn't get to see the Nigerians, but we did get to see a lot of the other standard breeds get shown, which was really nice.
See some of the breeders that we've showed against in other shows. So
nice. So hello, Braxton. What's up, bud? I know, long time no see. It's been kind of crazy around here. It's been really crazy. You know, it's bad because I lost all that footage back in July, from March leading up to July. And then I was just getting ready to edit like another video for you guys, and it's goat based, and it's from like the beginning of September. And I had to remind myself, you're in the beginning of November. I'm still 2 months behind. So it's been a little insane. I know, Braxton, you can relate to that. Livestock and just life in general is kind of crazy right now. Classic OC. Yes, we're on. Yay.
Got Farmer Brad. It was good to see him at the Indiana
Fairview Family Farm
Homesteading Conference. So he was there.
We did get to see him. He was there. He spoke twice.
Speaker segment on the chickens.
Yes.
Yep.
And he did a great job.
He had a helper with him.
Yes, his daughter was with him, and it went really well, guys. I'm going to wait a little bit longer until I really dive into talking about that a little bit. But Farmer Brad was there as one of our speakers. He was a vendor as well, because if any of you don't know, Farmer Brad has automatic chicken waters that he patented himself.
And then he also had some of the automatic doors too.
Like some of the automatic doors. I know it Run Chicken that donated a door that you brought for us, Brad, for a door prize, I think. So yeah, I
thought it was cool. He also had like that door versus like a cheap knockoff one to show like the differences in the quality and stuff like that. So definitely get what you pay for.
Definitely. And I think a lot of people kind of get sucked into that too, because they'll search for it like on Amazon, and Amazon will give you kind of like the cheapy ones, which there's nothing wrong with getting a deal. But I kind of look at a deal as like it's quality, and I didn't have to pay as much as I thought I would have to pay. Yep. There are a lot of people out there like, I'm buying the cheapest one, where really it's just, you probably should just spend the extra money. I actually was talking to somebody about milk machines for goats this week, and it was one of those like, you really get what you pay for. Yeah. Like, I know it seems like a huge investment, but it kind of is, and it's going to save you a lot of woes in the end if you buy like a good
not
one.
Just with the struggles with a cheaper one, but also like you buy a cheap one, it can actually harm your animal. The
non-pulsating milkers are bad. and if you don't know what you're looking at with milking, or you're not aware of like the pressure and suction, like you can really blow an udder fast if you're not careful.
All right,
I see Patty's in here. Hello, Patty. Braxton says we just got done with
breeding season.
And hoping to start videos again.
There you go.
It is tough because there's a lot going on around the farm, and it is not easy to film everything that's because then you have to edit and you have to put everything together, and it's not all that fun to do.
Fairview.
Hello, Fairview. It's nice to see you guys. So Farm Bread says, I'm out in the pasture seeing if you have any more. I saw you had 2 more lambs, and it was you, number 6, correct? That lamb for you today. So that's super awesome.
We unfortunately don't have any kids on the ground, but we're definitely starting to.
I will be no sleep in
Get
March.
them in the oven, I guess we should say.
Yeah, I pretty much got all of them in the oven. I did have one cycle again today, so I rebred her, but we'll hopefully nobody else recycles. Yep. So
yeah, Farmer Brad said was run chicken and chick
cozy. Okay.
You said hi to Patty, right?
I did. I said Patty's in here.
She said spend more up front and spend less over time in so many ways. Yeah.
Yes. And I found like some of like the more knockoff cheap brands, they do not offer customer service. Like their customer service is not good. So it's like you've got an inferior product that probably needs a little bit more when it comes to customer service when things do break. And it's just the support's not there. Like if you bought something from a name brand or one that's like really.
I struggle with that. Like on cheaper products, sometimes I'll buy just multiples of the cheaper one because it's like one is none, two is one, you know.
2 is 1, yep.
But buy something like, it's more you're investing more money in it. It seems like it's worth it to spend a little bit more and get a better quality brand.
I totally agree.
Yeah, like you said, the customer service is a huge piece to it.
You do end up spending a lot more over time.
Yeah.
So Margie's in the house. Hello, Margie. Oh, classic OC.
How's the bow season?
It's non-existent this year so far. You finally are catching us, and I didn't put out a video about this or anything. It's just been kind of.
On that note, though, real quick, we did see a giant buck go through our
they're
field.
chasing so bad around here.
It was
it's
a big
ridiculous.
Buck that went through our backfield.
Yeah, because he was probably 200-300 yards away, and it was like from 300 yards. We were both like, "Whoa!" Because you could see the headgear this guy was carrying. He was chasing.
Big ones like that.
No, we don't. So. Well, they're mostly nocturnal, you know. But there's been a lot of pictures in our area from the local like game forums that I'm following, where we're seeing a lot more bucks on their feet during the daytime. So rut is definitely kicking off hard. But yes, with this Indiana Homesteading Conference, I helped to plan it, and it started in the beginning of September. And I laid down my bow in the beginning of September, and I have not been able to pick it back up because of like the planning.
Back-to-back stuff going on.
Yeah.
So we had that conference.
Linear appraisals.
We've helped your sister with fencing. For a horse. For horses that they're bringing back to their house. I think this weekend we may be helping her haul.
Yeah, we're going to be hauling livestock.
Sounds like, just like.
And it's the opener of gun in Indiana, and it's one of the few years I will not be in the tree dressed in my blaze orange ready to go, which is super duper sad. But maybe Sunday.
Yep.
So Farmer Brad said, what did you think about that $800 bucket from HOA? What?
I'm not sure. There must have been one that was in the raffle, I bet. Remember how they had because we didn't go over and look at that.
No, I didn't look at that.
We did sneak over to the antique mall. We didn't know that was over there. And that was pretty neat. I will say that.
Mark bought an ammo can. Which everybody stopped and asked, hey, where's the ammo?
Yeah.
Like, where'd you get that? It's like, well,
I was like buying ammo.
Sadly, the ammo is not in there.
But they actually had a lot of neat stuff in there.
They did.
And it was reasonably priced. But we didn't see that, Farmer Brad. We didn't swing over to that. We saw the table. We didn't get a chance to go through it. So.
Yeah. Oh, 2 ram lambs.
Oh, nice.
Is that good for you? Will you end up processing them, or will they go to the sale barn for you? Or will you sell them off to like 4-H'ers or something? I'm just curious because I know for us, like bucks are like not as desired.
HOA's been almost a month now.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
It's flown by.
We're already counting down to next year though. Fairview Family Farm says it's been a while. Life took a detour, ready to restart in the spring. I know.
Yep.
I know what you mean. It's hard because when life does kind of throw you like an uppercut, you're just like, okay, I guess I'm doing this now.
For us, like we do try to plan things out ahead, but man, this fall has just been like pop-up stuff.
It has. But
even the Indiana Homesteading Conference, that wasn't on our radar at all during the summer. It was like, end of September someone reached out?
No, the beginning of September Rhonda reached out. Yeah. So it's been very intense for a very long time, and not very long. It felt like a very long time.
I will say because of the short time span, it was like pretty much you had to drop everything and work on it pretty much a lot.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of your free time went to that.
I hear that. Hey, Walterman Homestead, hello. Megan and Dylan, how's it going?
IHC.
I know. Oh, so classic OC, before I forget, how is your bow season going? Or are you setting the bow down? Or are you hunting hard until rifle season and then picking up a rifle? Yeah. Let's see here. Did you go? No. You know, Brad, it's kind of weird. This year we didn't go to a ton of talks. There were some talks we wanted to go to, but we spent a lot of time networking with like for IHC, networking with vendors and possible sponsors, and just kind of catching up with people that we haven't seen in a long time. There were only really a few that I really, really wanted to go see. And Stacy Lynn's was one of them. But I think that was one where we either got caught up or I ended up sitting in a different one because it kind of coincided with something else I wanted to watch. Was it good? Did you enjoy it? That's the big question.
Who was the one with the horses? Jill, was it?
Jill. Yeah, we did.
I can't remember her last name.
Jill Winger. And hers was great. Good. Like hers was kind of like an inspirational talk. And it was
pretty heartfelt.
It was pretty heartfelt, you know, and it's kind of good to feel that baseline through other homesteaders. Hey Mo, what's going on, girl? Crazy Life Homestead. For those of you that don't know who Mo is.
Farmer Brad says a good reminder that hunting public lands is a great way for city dwellers.
Yes.
To be able to put away some good quality meat in the freezer.
Yeah. You would be surprised how many people don't know that they think they have to go find, which it's good to go along with someone who knows the ropes, but neither one of us were taught. Like we both just picked up what we wanted to hunt with, and we went out and we sat and we read articles and, you know, did a lot of learning out in the field. And I mean, I think that's almost like a forgotten art now to just try to do something.
Though is I've heard a lot of people getting their stuff taken. Like stolen. If you have a stand or something up, there was somebody in our chat last time that actually said that. I don't know if it was on their own.
Oh yeah, they got stands stolen, cameras get stolen, feeders get stolen, which technically in Indiana it's illegal anyway to have any type of bait out during season. You can supplement and feed all the way up to season, but the moment season opens, there can't be a trace left, or it's illegal. Unless laws have changed, but I don't think they've changed on that.
Classic OC said they did set up some game cameras, so that's awesome. We have game cameras called security cameras around our house. And I don't know, you probably didn't post the video yet, but anyways, coming home from Nail, we got an alert or alarm on our camera, and we looked, and the game we had in our yard was all of our goats out. So
it's great. Like an hour and a half away.
We had to sort of rush home because Ashley's like watching the entire time, making sure they don't go towards
until I saw that a donkey was out, and I was like, the donkeys, if both of them had been out, it would have been a complete you-know-what show. Like, it would have been terrible. But because one was out and she's extremely bonded to the one that didn't get out, she stayed close. But I watched her on the cameras just, like, galloping up and down the field, like the fence line. I'm like, please don't do anything stupid.
So that was our game cameras for the weekend.
Yeah, we really probably should do a little bit more game cameras, but we're kind of in between because Indiana hiked a lot of, which that's one thing people don't know too. Like, you know, public land is great and everything, but the gear to hunt is insane, can be insanely expensive. It's a big investment. And then when you throw on top of it, the Indiana raised almost every single type of tag for whitetail deer season this year is insane. I think the bundle went up from $60 some to $90 some. I guess I'm just going to get one tag, you know? I mean, I don't think he's even planning to hunt this year. I think I'm going to be the only one that's going to go out and do it unless you decide to.
Yeah. I know I'm off next week and it was to consider hunting, but honestly, with as busy as our schedule's been, it's probably just going to be work around the house. We still have like unfinished work, our duck pen. We really want to finish that out.
Yeah.
At least the fencing around it, because we're still using Premier One electric fencing on like part of it. It works. I mean, there's nothing wrong.
It keeps them in.
And we hooked up the solar panels, so it does.
But we want to use that for rotational graze on the ducks because Muscovies do graze. Yeah. So it's more beneficial for our feed bill to rotate them, you know. So that's part. So one of the milk vendor, that's nothing for a milking machine. 800 is like chump change. I'm not saying that like in a condescending way either. Like that might be just for the stainless steel buckets, because I know when I was looking at a stainless steel bucket that was quite a bit bigger, I was looking at $300 or $400 just for like a new bucket. If you're gonna get into milking machines, I would say like find your local Facebook groups. Joe, I'm sorry, she's got something in the oven. I want to make sure she heard it. But if you're going to go into looking for like milking machines, it's best to go into like some of your local Facebook forums or, you know, regional things for like goats or dairy cattle, and you usually can find them used for not too bad.
Her talk made me want to explore passive fishing. That sounds cool.
It sounds like she had like a really nice, a really good talk.
I wonder what the title of hers was because I didn't see anything around that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I think you have to take a hunter safety course in order to get your license in Indiana.
Hello, Tina. Ladybug.
Hey, Tina. What's up?
Good to have you here tonight. Mo said almost bagged one Sunday morning. He blew at me and came back to figure out what that was. Adam did right, but he jumped in the woods at the last second.
I've had them jump string before, where you're just like,
yeah. We had a couple that goes to our church. They almost hit one with a car. Well, actually, one almost hit a car and had a serious accident.
Yeah.
So we'll keep his family in our prayers. Yeah. But him and his family. But also there was someone there at church Sunday who was going out on a vacation. So the south of Indianapolis and hit a buck and actually totaled their truck.
Yeah,
so
it's bad.
They're definitely running.
They got him.
And when they're in rut, it's like they'll just
they don't
run
care.
right out on you. They don't.
Yeah, it's worse than normal.
Anything.
It's worse than normal. Yeah, I'm old school. Bow and muzzle got two so far. Get them. Get another two for us, okay? Just in case we don't get to get out in the woods, which is, it seriously has been killing me. I've told him, I'm like, I don't feel balanced because I haven't been able to get out and do it.
There's pretty stacked with the chickens.
I'm gonna thaw everything though, and I'm going to pressure can it because
we still got some goat left.
Yeah, we do have some goat left. We'll get it out and cook it, dude.
Yep. I'm just saying we have plenty in the freezer right now.
We do, but I would love to make room in my freezer by pressure canning the meat and getting it out, just in case. We actually did have a situation where we caught our freezer wasn't closing all the way in the summertime, and I caught it really fast. Everything was still frozen, but for me, that was just kind of another wake-up call, which how much meat we had in there. I'm like, nope, I need to be canning all of it and getting it on the shelf. So Patty says, my son is a seasoned hunter. He won't leave anything out in the woods anymore due to the huge influx of green hunters, and those are, people don't care. I mean, I hate to say that because we've often thought like we have 13 acres, but a lot of it is open ground and there's a small portion that's wooded. In Indiana, if you're a landowner, you don't have to, you pay. I don't even know if you have to pay for the tag. You have to tag it. You don't have to pay anything because you're a private landowner as long as you take it on your property. If you go somewhere else, then it's like a whole nother thing. You have to have like a tag and your license and everything.
Yeah.
You still have to have a license on your property. It's just you don't pay for the tag. But I can't remember where I was going with that now.
Patty asked, how many deer can you harvest?
Oh, we were thinking about trying public land because we actually have a lot of parks near us that open up for the public to come in. But because, I mean, I've had conversations with deer hunters where like, I took a sound shot. And I'm like, and for me, I'm like, a sound shot is like, oh, good. It was like sound. I'm like, so you got him? He's like, no, I heard something in the bushes and I shot. And I'm like, you're a freaking idiot. You're what makes everybody scared of hunters because you should always be able to see the target and everything behind your target before you shoot. It's just common sense, gun safety when you're shooting at anything. Hence, we can't hardly ever hit the coyote out here because he always stands like right in line with the houses that we can see over the horizon. And with a long rifle, that's just, they do. They know it's not a clear spot, but how many deer can you harvest per season? It's dropped a lot in our area, Patty, because of EHD.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any bonus antlerless in our county, and the county that we usually hunt in, I don't think they do either. They dropped a lot of the numbers. And actually this year, like I've tried to make it to where like, I'm not going to try to take a doe. I only want to take a buck because we're going to need the does to repopulate. We're going to need them to be the baby carriers. Any old buck out there can do the job.
Yeah.
They know what to do, but I'm going to go for a buck if I am able to get out this year. Hi, Mama Burton. How are you?
Hello. Mo said Tennessee, $2 a year and 3 does a day.
$2 a year? We're only allowed 1 buck a year.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're only.
And 3 does a day? Jesus.
And their big game license
crazy.
is $40 and then 35 to 99 or 99. 39
each
for a stamp.
They're getting you there. That's where they're getting you.
Because Indiana had a bundle, and that's where I was thinking of $99. It was $99
for 3 with any weapon.
Yeah, which was nice because if you didn't get out gun season, you could use it in bow season too.
Yeah.
But it was, what was it, $65?
It was 65. Now it's like 99.
Yeah.
And that's not including the tax and everything else. So it's a little more than I would like to pay on top of the ammo prices and everything else. So,
hello, Evelyn.
Hi, Evelyn. How are you? And I do think like in our county, I think you might be able to take 4 or 5 a year. That's it. One antlered period across all of Indiana. But down in Franklin County, it was 8 with bonus, but there's no bonus this year. So I think it's like more like 5 or 6 you can
Farmer Brad said the one that he saw was portable and powered by tool battery and had a PSI adjustment for cows and goats.
Yeah.
I think we saw that one. We were looking at it.
Yeah, because I think there were, I bet I know who you're talking about because I remember going over there and looking at them. Yeah, with Simple Pulse. Mine does 2 goats at a time.
We've had good luck with it too.
It's really nice. I do like it. At least try one week. I'm really hoping Sunday. That's really what I'm hoping for Classic OC is to get out Sunday, because then after that, once the rifles start going off, we'll have to wait a few months. Until it gets back to normal.
Patty said, "What, shooting blind? Dang."
You'd be surprised. Some of the people we've talked to I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, makes you scared to walk in the woods when you
Hence why I don't want to do public land, even with the blaze orange.
One thing I definitely want to do this year, though, is that we keep saying we're going to do is squirrel hunting. We haven't done it in a couple
but it always
years.
comes during linears and milking and everything else. So excuses, guys. I know I'm full of them today. 3 does a day. Wow, can't take one here without a tag, and then those are done with it using a draw. Yeah,
wow.
Any old buck. Wow. Sorry, Classic. I know. You know how it is, though. They all run, they all chase, but with the EHD kind of killing our population here, it's rough. It is rough. But one of the local chop shops. Well, he's not really local. He's right across the state line. But he said today, he's like, boys, it's on. He's like, every single deer that's been brought in today is a buck. He's like, we have had no does checked in almost in the last 48 hours. It's all bucks. So maybe everybody else is going by the same. It helps that it's rut, but everybody else is going by the same set of rules. Yeah.
As much as we're seeing the deer around here, though, we did have the coyote pop up again recently.
Yeah.
So we've had to deal with that. And unfortunately, our barn cat has been missing.
I don't know where she went. But 2 new feral cats have popped up in the back field. So I'm like, you guys can become our new barn cats.
So, yeah, it isn't one critter, it's another, it seems like.
Yeah,
so.
It kind of is what it is. I figure the coyotes around here survive mostly on pets.
Yeah.
Mostly. They don't, that and fawns or my chickens or my ducks or whatever they can find out at whatever time of day that they're out. So Mo said, right now we are in muzzleloading season, about 2 weeks long. Did I tell you we are hunting old property? Someone took to, you're who we were talking about.
Yep.
It's insane. It really is. It's insane.
Stands aren't cheap.
No, we actually, the neighbor that is next to my mom's, I've called him and got rights for retrieval, which technically you're supposed to do if your animal even goes on someone else's property. And he was like, you'd be surprised. He's like, I catch people on my trail cams all the time. He's like, he's like, I know who they are because it's a small community. He's like, I turn them in every time. He's like, I really appreciate you asking to come in and to retrieve. And I'm like, well, that's in our hunting guidelines, like you're supposed to be doing that. He's like, I know, but most people don't. So it just kind of sucks.
Said, how many cats do you hunt? We have too many.
Bring 2 or 3 over here.
Could use 1 or 2.
I mean, like the mice in my barn are getting very bold.
It's funny how quick the mice population goes up.
Yeah, actually, that's what cued me because I was like, man, I haven't seen angel wings in a couple days because I was like, man, there's a ton of mice. Like I'm just seeing them out of the corner of my eyes when I walk into like a room or a part of the barn. And I started noticing, I'm like, she's not coming back.
She's definitely stuck around the house. So
and she was a
actually
hunter
a little bit more of a friendly barn cat.
She was a super friendly barn cat, which makes me sad. I don't want to think about her.
Farmer Brad said they're going to try to milk ewe number 2 when she lands. Heard they don't get much, but sheep milk can be frozen and still turned into stuff.
Oh yeah, there's actually a couple of different sheep dairies that I have to look them up because I know I watch
the fat content of like
I don't think they do. I don't think they do.
Which I know Nigerians have a lot of fat in their milk, which are one of the higher ones. But.
I've known of a couple people that run sheep dairies, so I don't know. But I watched Sandy Brock.
Patty's curious too, so it's more like kids like us.
Well, like sheepishly me, Sandy Brock on YouTube, she has some where like they do produce a ton of milk. Like their udder is huge. But it's kind of funny because like for them, because she's not focused on dairy, like she was saying like the teats that point down, she's like, that's terrible teat placement. And I'm like, actually for the goat world, that's perfect. Yeah. But she likes them to point up and out, so it's easier for the lambs to find them, which I was like, man, it's just kind of funny, like when your purpose changes, like how you look at things differently. Or she's like, that's terrible placement. But for me, I'm like, I would kill for Nigerian dwarfs with like teat placement straight down right underneath the udder. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I hate that. She's like, I'll call over that trait, which is just, it's kind of funny.
Evelyn's a Sandy fan too, so I love Sandy.
I love Sandy. She's so real.
No, Mo said Justin Rhodes' son Jonas milked the sheep, the first lambing they had 2 years ago.
Oh, really? Oh, cool. Did they do anything with it? If for any reason, I mean, it's good just to save like even the first bit of colostrum in case you do have like a ewe that lambs bred and just doesn't produce, or something happens to her, to make sure like the lamb gets colostrum. We try to save a little bit of colostrum here too, just in case. There are gels and powders, but
birthing season, man, it's that's like worth its weight in gold.
It really is worth its weight in gold. They do call it liquid gold, and good colostrum is like a thick consistency, and it is pretty much a gold color. That's how you know it's good. You've got a
feeding tube now, right?
I do have a feeding tube.
Can you get colostrum through that?
Yeah, you can. If you heat anything up enough, but the thing is you'd have to slow heat it. You wouldn't be able to microwave it, or you'll kill all the beneficial things in it. So you can bring it back up and make it a little bit more runny and let it, especially if it's warm, anything warm. But if it got cool, like it would just glob up. You wouldn't be able to really tube that well. But they make all kinds of like replacers, even though I'm insanely against milk replacers. Colostrum replacers, not so much, but milk replacers, just like, no, just don't do it, guys, please. It kills their stomachs. It's not good for them. Ugh, sorry. She says, ewe number 2 is oldest ewe, but she is the friendliest. Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. Try on the friendly ones.
He also said, I've had issues when we have had triplets. Yeah, sometimes triplets can be a little tough. Especially like Nigerians can have quads and
quints. The record is 7.
Yeah,
record is 7.
But it's not uncommon for them to have quads, and we have a doe every year that has quads
every single year,
and one of them's always underdeveloped.
Yeah, she was gone.
Yeah,
I sold her for that reason.
Yeah,
it might not be her it might not have been her fault. It could have been nutrition, but like,
no, she had some traits.
She does have some traits. Were not what I was looking for, but it's just one of those things too, like in your breeding program, like when you take really, really good notes, that you kind of just realize, like when you go back over that animal's history in the last couple of years, it helps you to really make the appropriate cuts. They're not fun cuts at all, but they're necessary, you know, to keep the best. They were in the pole bar. Okay, well, but the most part, I have seen that sheep are pretty easy to lamb on their own.
Yeah.
They're in the pole barn. They were in the pole barn. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Dolly number 2 gave us 2 pairs in one county. Wow.
Oh, wow. Oh, we have a special
busy girl.
We have a special talented goat though in our barn. So we have a goat that has started writing letters to people. I found out today. So it was honestly a super cute response we got. So while Ashley was speaking, there was a lady there that had 2 younger daughters?
She actually had 3 kids. Yes. She had 3 young children, and they were taking notes of some of like their favorite speakers. And I got the most notes, y'all.
Yeah. She had a picture she shared, and it was definitely of Ashley's speech going on about goats. And
it was so cute.
Yeah, we got in touch with them and sent them stickers. And Ashley crafted a nice letter from Squeakers, who was there walking around the ring. I think that everybody entertained or enjoyed and entertained everyone.
Yeah.
I swear we had like, I don't even know, it was like 10 kids trying to give her leaves while she was walking around while Ashley was talking. It was hilarious. They were like running out of the arena and then bringing back in leaves.
I know, they were so happy.
I think it was nice because then the parents could actually just enjoy listening and not have to worry about entertaining the kids. Because I know kids are sometimes like, if somebody's sitting there talking for more than 20 minutes, antsy. The kids are like, let's go.
They get terribly antsy.
Let's go find the ice cream or whatever stuff's in the area. So
it was fun. So I guess we can talk a little bit about that, about the Indiana Homesteading Conference. Like I said, Brad was a wonderful speaker of ours, a vendor, and all such things. Gave things for our door prizes. So big thank you to you, Brad. But some of you guys know, especially if you follow like Facebook, because YouTube, obviously I am lacking, and I'm trying to build an IG a little bit right now. But at about the beginning of September, I was approached kind of just out of the blue by Rhonda Fowler, who kind of created the Indiana Homesteading Conference. And it was the first weekend of September. And she's like, hey, do you help me with this? Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, sure. And we started having calls and we started having meetings and kind of starting to craft things. And I was like, well, Rhonda, when do you want to have it? She's like, October 15th. It's like, that's 6 weeks away. That's kind of insane. She's like, well, we only want it to be small. It was
much smaller.
Yeah. She's like, I have the venue. She's like, so we've got that hard part out of the way. And so I was like, oh, that's great. You got the venue. We can kind of build around the venue. And 6 weeks didn't seem that terrible for kind of the scope that we were looking at. But when we opened up registrations and we had a couple speakers that were lined up to where we felt comfortable, like, yeah, this is actually going to happen. We opened up registration and we went from like 0 to 200, like in a matter of hours. Yeah, and we were kind of topped at 250.
Yeah, I was going to say limit.
We were topped at 250. So
because of the venue.
The venue was just a lot smaller. It wasn't like
we started off with the fairgrounds right off the bat.
No, and it couldn't accommodate that. So when we hit 200, I told Ron to like shut it down, stop it, freeze the registrations, because there's no way that we can get all these people here for a conference and keep registration open for more than an hour.
Josh, Mountain Roots.
Josh, what's up?
I will say your series on Appalachia is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah,
very cinematic. We like it.
Yeah.
We like it a lot.
He does a great job on the voiceovers too.
Yeah, he does.
I enjoyed the one that was about snake handling, because my religion. So our church is based around Pentecostals, and a lot of that has like snake handling in the past. So people are always like,
but we don't.
I'm not touching a snake.
We do not do that.
But it was interesting to see that episode. I thought that was cool. So had some background on it, which. If you're going to talk about the whole thing, I was like, wait, I forgot those. I looked behind you.
But anyway, so once we got like all of that figured out and we froze registration, it was like scrambling to find a place, because we were like, well, how big is this going to get? And it was a free event. So technically you could have all these people sign up, but maybe nobody will show up because there's no skin in the game, because Rhonda really wanted to keep it free. I think by the end of it, we were like, we definitely should have charged, because it put a lot of pressure on us. But what happened is we were able to find a fairgrounds that I called and was like, I know it's short notice. This is the date that we're wanting. I'm open for every weekend up until this date. And she came back. She's like, the only opening we have is on the 29th. She's like, and they actually just called probably 30 minutes before you and canceled. She's like, it's not even out there on the calendar yet. I'm like, I want it, block it, block it for right now. We want to come look at the venue and everything. And went out there, and it was like, just, I don't know. It's just like things lined up perfectly for us. It really did.
Out well. And the nice thing about the fairgrounds is they were actually, the fairgrounds, Ashley's done a couple primitive shows, especially with their scrimshaw. And it was the fairgrounds, we've been there, 4 or 5 times, maybe.
Didn't even really
so they were familiar to us, and like we knew the venue well. Like when we were driving up there, I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's these fairgrounds. And sure enough, it was. So we knew what to expect as soon as we got there.
It was kind of funny. I didn't even realize it when I told Mark where we were going. He's like, you've been there like 5 or 6 times. Where are we going to look? And I was like, oh my gosh, I have been there quite a bit. But Rhonda wanted to look at it too.
Yeah. But we also rented out multiple buildings. Usually when we did the show, it was like
just the exhibition hall,
which is huge. But
the scope went from like 200 people, tops 250, with maybe like 3 different speaking sessions going on at a time. We were going to have 4 or 5 speaking slots. So like 15 speakers, 20 speakers, make 10 to 15 speakers, maybe, like that's what we thought we were going to be dealing with. And we were looking at these buildings, and Rhonda's like, we could have speakers in all these buildings. So that's kind of how we geared it. So, we designed this conference to have 7 different speaking locations on the fairgrounds with 5 different speaking slots. I think there was only one room that we didn't have full all day long. So technically we ran 32 conference style learning sessions, which was, and some of those were repeats Farmer Brad was nice enough to do that for us for chickens because they're the gateway drug of livestock.
Especially when you have that many speakers. Like
we had lots of beginners that were there as well. That sometimes that's all you can do. You want to get into livestock, but maybe you don't have all the acreage, and the most you can do is 3 or 4 chickens. I mean, and for me, I've always thought if you're going to do something, do it to succeed. Like do it to the best of your ability. So I mean, Farmer Brad helped them start off on the right foot and gave them like a 101 for chicken keeping, which is fantastic. But we got all these sponsors together because it was free for our people. We were really blessed with the sponsors that we had. We did door prizes, we did shirt sales, and we did all this in 8 weeks. So if you guys haven't seen a lot of me in 8 weeks, because that's what's been consuming my life. But it was great because we had tons of vendors. We really got to meet a lot of different people in Indiana that were doing homesteading and got to connect a lot. Built communities. We did regional breakouts during our lunch session where you could, like, based off of a card, it would tell you like your county and what region it was broken out to and what building. We were having regional meetups so that you could see people in your region and talk to them, network, see what they were doing, compare different techniques. And it seemed like a lot of people really liked that. I took that time to sit on my butt because that day was extremely stressful. I didn't sit in on any speech, any talks at all the entire day. It was more like IT issues. I only caught
the last, like there's a couple, or the last one of the day, there was like a group, and I caught the rep processing. Like the last 20 minutes of it, which was awesome. I was able to sit in on some of it, but unfortunately it was the tail end. But
where we were just pretty much putting out
we
small
were running
fires
around
all day.
Everywhere.
Small fires all day. I mean, it was
definitely need to probably build up our like volunteer helper group next year.
But that can happen if we charge for tickets, where it's like free admission if you volunteer for 2 hours.
$5 each. I don't know if we'd go that high because we do want it accessible to just a large crowd and we're thinking make it affordable. But I think it's awesome. He thinks it's worth that much because
I appreciate that too, because we haven't gotten our Survey Monkey out yet for feedback, but we really, when it comes out, like we'd begging love to do feedback.
It free again next year.
It's not going to happen, y'all. I'm sorry. It was so stressful.
And honestly, Rhonda did an amazing job putting together sponsors, and that's just a lot of weight on her plate.
It was
just everybody.
It was, and to really, because of like, we started in September, and everybody, I found some negative feedback like online, which you're going to have negative feedback with everything, but some of them were like, well, I mean, if it was free, why did you shut down registrations? And it's like, because I would rather put on like a legit conference that is kind of like good for this set amount of number of people, rather than it be a complete and total crap show.
I think that's what Patty's talking about. She said, getting started well is so crucial.
It is. And
because that's our first impression of it.
It really
you want
is.
Return people.
And we wanted good speakers, and we wanted people to feel like they were welcome.
Which
and that they
did have a good lineup.
Oh my God, we really did. I was really sour by the end of the day.
So far of it, from people has been like a lot of speakers did really well. So,
which we were happy to hear that. Like, we were seriously so happy to hear that. I got to speak for the first time, which was super fun. Went down a million different rabbit holes, much like I do here on our lives, where we don't stay like on one track. It's like squirrel, we go over here, and the rabbit, we go over there. So
I had live goats
in there. The kids took notes, and then it was shared on Instagram and built a connection that way. And it's been really good. It's been really, really good. So already really looking forward to next year, have all kinds of different feedback from myself and Rhonda and people that were there. Hopefully more when we get the Survey Monkey set up to go out. But it consumed most of my life from September until October 29th. And then on the 30th, I was like, please don't speak to me. I don't want to talk to anybody.
Like you said, there's been a lot of wins from it. I think the venue still fits. So it's like, that's sort of off our plate. If we can, and the venue, like the people we worked with, honestly loved having us there, they said. And it's like, we built a good connection there for future considerations for using it. So
really?
Remember Megan?
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Like, really? You told me they like this? Are you sure? I don't know. I could tell you went to the comments. They told us they liked us. Are you lying to
They
me?
did. They did.
Mark,
they said that we were very easy.
Didn't.
But then I'm like, if you don't get any large events, though,
Yeah.
you want us to come back. So you're going to tell us how much you liked us. But there were some stressful parts. There were more great good parts about it than there were stressful. Like really, when we look back at it. But yes, Josh, we didn't really start it. Rhonda started at Rhonda Fowler, and she invited me kind of out of the blue. She said, I follow your Facebook page, and she's like, I feel a connection to you, and I really want you to be the person to help me with this and to kind of
it was nice. She had a lot of the same values we have as well.
Yeah.
So it was like a neat connection there. Her and her husband were awesome. So
did you like that from her, Brad? I wondered how you would adapt that, speaking twice, because if I'd have spoken twice, I would have adapted too. Like, yeah, I thought cool I wanted to talk to you about that by like the end of it, but like I didn't get to, it was kind of just a crazy day for us. So I'm glad to hear that you kind of got to craft it a little bit more. And I am behind on watching people's videos for Indiana Homesteading Conference. So I promise, guys, I'm going to get to that this week, and I will post them on the page.
Scrolled up. He's at something about mink. He's mink, like, is there a mink church? A mink handling
They're
church?
Meaner than snakes, so maybe they'd be probably braver than snake handlers.
Man, I wouldn't have touched that.
No, it was not afraid of us.
And then Josh said, "Good to know about your snake handling." That's definitely not the case. So.
Oh my gosh! Regional breakout. I met a family only a couple miles away from us. Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome. But yeah, also not just the speakers, but the vendors were awesome. We had some really good vendors. Yes. That's what I was grabbing. So there was like one that was
Indiana Fruit and Nut.
Yeah, like a lot of native things, and actually had pawpaw seeds that they dried out and were offering in those Ziploc bags. But they probably had like 6 different trees. The seeds for, and honestly, me and Ashley have never tried pawpaw seeds. We've heard about them a lot, and it's a native Indiana plant.
I've never found one in the wild, but I see posts about it all the time. Brad, I thought about that crossed my mind, because I do know that HOA is looking for magazine articles, and there were several things I thought I might want to write to turn in. I don't know if I could be committed, which is my only problem, because I feel like I'm spread a little thin right now. A good topic
would probably be goats, a little bit about those.
But that, like, start creating a regional conference from scratch is that's a good it's a good topic, because I know a lot of people, trust me, I know a lot of people want to do it. There's so much drama behind the scenes of this stuff. It's kind of ridiculous. And that's not between me and Rhonda, it's between other groups. It's just it's interesting.
I will say from HOA though, Amy's awesome. Amy Phil.
The
leader of that. She's
awesome.
I
really do like her a lot.
I started following her posts a little more closely and just really respect what she does.
Yeah. I don't know how. Cool. And she's gotten to that point where she's kind of got a team that does it for her, which I think is wonderful. Like, she still guides it, and she still has her principles and her thoughts and her view that she wants. Like, she's got her dream that she wants to fulfill with it. And I think it's good when you can get like a team gathered around something and you all push forward like that. That's kind of where we want to go with it, but I don't know. It's almost too much to think about it right now. I've been taking notes a lot for next year, but I want to do more networking myself. But I think that's something you I think you almost have to forfeit it, to put it together, because I think that was the one thing, is like, HOA was wonderful. I look forward to HOA every year. I will go to it every year as long as we have nothing like crazy that's going to be conflicting. But I look at it and I'm like, I'm glad I have that to look forward to, because when you create something like that, or you're a part of really building and blocking and piecing something together for other people, and there's a lot of people that have lots of opinions and want to see different things, and there's feedback from every angle, like, you do sacrifice and forfeit a lot of the enjoyment out of it. Not in a bad way, but it's very thankless, because like, people will talk to the vendors and they'll talk to speakers and they'll talk about all this, but it's the people that do the organizing that make it happen, where you're just kind of like, okay, that was a lot of stress and nobody knows I did that, but that's not what it's for. It really is like to build community. And that's what I want from it. I want to build community.
Well, homesteading's so broad too. There's so many different areas that you can learn from and pull from people too. To get that expertise. So, like, Amy Fuel is big on like home remedies and stuff like that, which is cool, because honestly, that's something I definitely don't have a lot of experience in. But just 100%. Different people there had all kinds of.
They had all kinds of different.
It's a broad spectrum.
Perspectives, and just even the kind of where you see people come from. Like, I get excited thinking about it though, because like you talk to somebody and they'll tell you their whole journey and all the struggles, or you talk to people that have been doing it for 40 years and they teach you things where you're like, I never even thought to approach this issue that way. And then you get to talk to people that are just starting and you kind of get to take that role model position for them, because like where they're at now, like you're years ahead of them. So it's just, I don't know, it just feels very connected all the way around, and to see how people do things differently and like the spaces that they have is just amazing. And I think a lot of people that, and we try to encourage it, like you basically at a conference, what you should be doing is just setting out like bare bones and saying how you flesh out this skeleton is up to you. Like, this is just how I do it. Here are the parameters. Here's the basics. Go from there. You know, what works for you on your farm or your homestead is up to you. I really like that. Yeah,
I think this year was a good good foundation though. I think it definitely gives us something to build off of.
I hope so.
And there was a lot of good input. So
yeah. I get weary.
Look at Sunny hopping in here.
Hello,
Emma.
So Josh says, I can't imagine, wouldn't even know where to begin to pull off something like that. Tip of my hat to y'all. It was super fun. It's, you know, by the end of the day, I was like, can I put this on my business resume? And someone's like, absolutely. Like 8 weeks and you pull it all together and this is what you came up in 8 weeks. Like, this is a resume booster.
Emma had some cool footage of Matt in the shop recently.
Did she?
Yeah.
I haven't been able to do anything lately online.
I saw the post on it. It was pretty cool.
Hi, Dana. That's Dana. Growing Dreams Homestead was part of IHC this year. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it scrolled up on me. Come back, Dana. She says, you did an amazing job. Thank you so much. We thought it was great. Well, at least somebody did. Like, by the end of the day, I'm like, was it good, Mark? Was it okay? And he's like, I think it was fine. I'm like, okay.
We still have a survey to send out to everybody that attended.
So I'm gently nudging people to get that in gear, because I'm like, while it's fresh, we want it while it's fresh.
It's hard not to just sort of
wind off.
Yeah, just be like, okay, it's over. Let's just drop everything for a minute and breathe. But
it
there's
doesn't
still
work
some
that
follow-up
way.
pieces. And honestly, we also don't want to wait that late again until next year.
No. I think for Rhonda and I, we've said after Christmas we'll start talking again. Yeah. Like we're both actively taking notes and ideas. We are going to meet up for dinner to kind of go over a recap. More just to connect outside of talking about the conference, just to hang out, which will be nice. Yeah, it'll be it'll be different because it's just like a social setting and not like, I mean, how many phone calls were we on a day? Yeah, so many. I was for more like boots hours on the ground once things got rolling, but so many for hours. But yeah, ridiculous. Like some of the vendors there, like one neat one for me was Mount Healthy Hatchery. So like they're a big hatchery near us, and honestly, my family's gotten chickens there since I can remember. Yeah, I mean they've been doing it for what 99 years. They said. Yeah, or well, that's where we get all of our Cornish. And like they rolled in, and I was like, oh, I know that place. That was cool. So they had a little chick display. They brought in some chicks and a little. We always buy our meat birds from them. I told them, I'm like, my daughter won Grand Champion broilers with your guys' stock, like not this year but last year, and they're like, oh really? Like it was just kind of fun. 4 jars there. We had 4 jars was there. Weston A. Price Foundation was there. There was a lot. And Townsend with his stuff. Yeah, he had like 3 or 4 had like 3 companies. So there's Cousins Compost, Freedom Focus LLC, and then Hidden Hollow Honey Co. Yeah. They were sponsors too, so like we had to we did a lot with them, which was great. We couldn't have done it without them, honestly. And then they are talking us into probably a freeze dryer. It's happening. We're gonna go with the Harvest Right freeze dryer. Seeing those were pretty cool. Definitely going to end up getting one of those very soon. So Farmer Brad says, I don't think I'll be able to be at HOA next year. Boo, Brad, because I'm working on getting an MBA. Woo, Brad, that's awesome. So it's nice to know IHA is a closer option. Wonderful. I hope you will help and be a part of it next year. Yeah. I know we probably have it at like the end of September, but we'll probably put out a Survey Monkey on that too, because some people are like, well, farmers markets. And I'm like, it's one Saturday. You have to make a choice, like you have to make a choice. If you want to come here, that's great. If you depend on the farmers market, go to the farmers market. We're also hoping for a 2-day, 1 day, like devoted to workshops, hands-on workshops, pay to play deals. like with processing and things like that, but that's all in the works. I don't want to give away too much. We're all thinking about it.
So I did post behind on some of our fall prep stuff. So I know you.
Oh my gosh, it's been
so I don't know how many
bad.
you still have fall jobs that you still gotta get done, but I know for us it was like wrapping up our garden. So we you basically cut all the corn stalks down and we bundled those up. We're actually going to try using them as fodder. Through the winter this year, just as a alternative option.
Yeah.
Also to help our
I was trying to get the corn and it was drying out real good, and then the chickens got into it, which I'm like, well, that's what I was going to use them for anyway.
We spotted a possum in there one night.
Yeah, he was eating melons though. So I have to, it kind of, I
will say the tarp was a win. The
landscaping tarp that we used, the ground cover was a big win. The only bad thing is I will say I probably won't do as much corn on it because then I literally have to go yank the corn up or cut it off at the at the root so I can pull it back up. That was a little bit involved, but I mean, I got it, nothing tore. I folded it all back up, put it all away for next year, and I'll put it back out. I've actually been doing a deep clean in the barn and trying to do more of a no-till next year. So it's a lot of bedding, a lot of like leaves and manure and everything going in it right now so that it can overwinter. Getting the chickens in on it, putting their scratch feed down on it so they can scratch and add their nitrates too. So we're definitely in the throes of preparing for gardening next year, even though we're in the fall. The hugelculture beds, the raised garden beds that we do hugelculture in, finally got cleaned yesterday. They got cleaned out yesterday. I really would have liked.
We got all the produce out of it. It was just
and whatever was left went to the ducks and the chickens, and they were so happy to have it. I mean, they were super.
But the raised beds were a plus this year. I think we got the most.
They were, and I didn't have to water. So one of the big things that I know, I had a couple of people like, it was so dry, and those are big beds. Like you probably had to water a ton. I'm like, that's the beauty of hugelculture. Like I only watered once heavy while we were in a drought. Like one time, and the roots on my, and I really should have taken video of it yesterday, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I just got to get it done. The roots on my tomatoes were just like no joke, guys, like taps right down. You could just tell, like it was very beneficial for my plants this year in those new beds. So we did have a little bit of blight in some of those plants, so I didn't use the plant matter as a filler. I just burned. I know I like to sometimes leave that up all winter long, but with these being newer beds, even though we did like thick mulch on the bottoms of our tomato plants, when they got too big and bowed over down to the ground, that matter picked up blight and it pulled it all the way back up. So for some of them, like I pulled those plants that I had marked with blight and just burned because I don't want to keep that in my soils if I can avoid it. So.
And we got another stocked water tank to use.
Yeah, got another one cheap for another raised garden bed. So
we love using those. Those look so cool. Anyways, so
we've got plans to expand that. It's been got the last bit of jalapenos.
Yeah, all that sort of got pushed on the back burner for the conference.
Yeah. Gonna empty out the freezer.
Our daughter helped us pick all the produce one day, so that just helped keeping up with it. So. But yeah, I think we got most of that wrapped up. Like you said, you've been breeding those for the past couple of weeks.
I'm going to be very tired in March. Yeah. I'm going to be very tired in March. I think the height was in one day I bred like 8 or 9. Like they were all in heat. So I bred all of them. And I'm like, I'm going to hate myself.
In the last live, but if not. So I was like actually working a couple weeks ago. I had to go to New Hampshire for a work meeting. And I actually was getting texts from Ashley saying, hey, look who's pairing up. And it was goat breeding pictures. So I sort of had to like look at those without making sure no one else noticed, because I'm sure that would look awkward with me just having.
Because it's not just them together. It's like
breeding a doe
them in the throes of passion.
Yeah. She's like, look who's getting together right now. And I'm like, oh, Lord. So.
There's no shame on a farm.
Yeah,
it's
I'd open it like,
life.
We're going to keep that one closed.
Life is beautiful.
Yeah.
In all aspects.
Okay, it's exciting, but I don't know.
Oh, we'll see you later, Mo. Thanks for hanging. Josh is out of here too. I know it's almost bedtime for us too.
We're winding down too. Growing Dream said, I think a 2-day with a place for campers would be super cool. Just throwing out there. We can help more next year.
Yeah.
We'll probably definitely take you up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe 2 days in the future. Probably not next year, I'd say probably. But maybe.
Shooting for the stars, baby.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it could work
There are
out.
just so many people that wanted hands-on workshops.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the only way
I will
to do
say
it.
there is a campground nearby that someone was recommending there. I don't know exactly what the name of it was, but they camped.
Some fairgrounds do have hookups. I think that might have been an option there. I just didn't ask about it.
Yeah, it might have been extra charge, I bet, too.
Well, that's on the camper.
But there was like a campground nearby.
Yeah.
Mark was telling me that they camped at, and they enjoyed it. Yeah, so there's some nearby, and really don't know the name of it, but yeah, wouldn't be a bad idea if they have hookups there.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like the fairs I've always done growing up, and then the fair our daughter does.
Tons of people camp.
Yeah, I mean, they're always by campground. It's like you spend so much of your time at the fair. It's like if you can camp there, it makes it 10 times easier. Unfortunately, we have so many animals back home
that require milking.
We have to go back home and take care of. But I mean,
fair is no longer fun with dairy animals because I milk at the fairgrounds and I milk at home twice a day. So I milk 4 times a day.
The drive is just far enough where it's like it's not easy run back and forth.
Yeah.
I know if like we lived a lot closer, it'd be easier just to go home, take care of those, and go back and hang out the fair. But is what it is.
Yeah, sometimes if we have shows and we know like, well, we have to be down here and milk again in like 2 hours, we just stay. We just hang out. But we have a lot of people that we know down there too, so it's not. Yeah, it's not too. But there are times where you're just like, I just want air conditioning in my own home.
So we know a lot of people down there. So.
Yeah, it's definitely a family type vibe down there. That's for sure. We enjoy it.
We do.
Tired. I'm sorry. I'm starting to wear down, guys. I think we're going to go ahead and call it. Dana, I'm so happy you stopped in. I really wish I would have been able to talk to you guys more because you guys are just like, you're like right next door. You're like in the county over. We really need to get together and have you guys over and just do like dinner or something. Yeah, I just think that would be really good. But anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to head out for tonight. I hope that you guys have enjoyed talking with us. We will be live again, not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after. That's not the Wednesday of Thanksgiving, right?
Might be. I'm losing track of my weeks.
16th, 20th. It is the Wednesday before. Yeah. Well, we might get creative on that week. We'll have to wait and see. Is it the 23rd?
Yeah.
Boo. Okay, we'll figure it out. But anyways, guys, we hope that you are all staying safe out there and being kind to one another, and we will catch you on the next one.
Yep. Good night. God bless.
God bless. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.